Most people think stupidity is about low intelligence. It's not. Stupidity is a choice, a pattern, a disease of the mind that spreads through comfort, ego, and cowardice. And if you don't cut it out, it will kill your potential. This is not entertainment. This is your wake-up call. Here are 6 signs of a stupid person. If any of these hit you, good. That's where change begins. Don't defend yourself. Transform yourself. Now listen carefully. Please help spread this ancient wisdom to more people. Hit subscribe, smash the like button, and drop a comment below. It's just one click. These thoughts could inspire or help someone else on their journey. Together, we can make a difference. Number 1, they react instead of thinking. There's a trait in the human psyche that is both dangerous and debilitating. It's a trait that destroys potential, breeds conflict, and keeps people trapped in cycles of ignorance. That trait is reaction. A reaction is a knee-jerk response, the gut reaction that comes without thought, without reflection. It's what stupid people do when they are confronted with a challenge, an obstacle, or a new idea. They do not think, they do not reflect, they do not even pause. No, they simply react. They lash out, they give in to their emotions, they fall prey to their instinctive impulses. They act as though their first thought is the most important thought. They believe that reacting is the same as taking action. But they couldn't be more wrong. When you react instead of think, you surrender to the chaos of the moment. You let the external world dictate your responses. You let the pressure of the situation, the fear of the unknown, or the discomfort of conflict control your behavior. You become a puppet, pulled by the strings of your impulses, unable to break free from the trap you've set for yourself. This is not strength. This is weakness. This is not decisive action. This is mindless, uncontrolled, dangerous behavior that will lead you nowhere. The world does not reward reaction. It rewards thought. It rewards careful deliberation. It rewards those who can stand firm, who can see beyond the chaos of the moment, who can look at a situation with clarity and make decisions with wisdom, not fear. The truly stupid people are the ones who cannot resist the pull of their impulses. They hear something they don't like, and they immediately retaliate. They face an obstacle, and they give up. They are confronted with a new idea, and they reject it without ever taking the time to understand it. They react because they have no control over their thoughts. Their minds are prisoners to their emotions, to their whims, to the constant noise of the world around them. This is the tragic irony of stupidity. It comes from the lack of self-control, the lack of the ability to think before you act, the inability to pause, to step back, to gain perspective before responding. You see, reacting is easy. Reacting is automatic. Reacting is the behavior of a person who has not yet learned to master themselves. It takes no real intelligence to react. Anyone can do that. But to think, to reflect, to control your response, to take measured, thoughtful action, that is the mark of someone who is capable, someone who is not ruled by their emotions, someone who is not a slave to the moment. When you react instead of think, you make enemies. You destroy relationships, you burn bridges, you alienate allies, you put yourself at risk in ways that you cannot even begin to comprehend. Reacting is the act of a child, a person who hasn't developed the mental maturity to handle the complexities of life. You are saying to the world, I cannot control myself. I cannot control my thoughts. I cannot control my actions. And when you let your thoughts run wild, when you let your emotions govern you, you give up the one thing that separates intelligent people from the ignorant masses: self-control. Let's make this clear. Reaction without thought is not only a sign of stupidity, it's a sign of weakness. You think you're protecting yourself, defending yourself, or protecting your ego when you react emotionally, when you lash out in anger or frustration. But you're not. You're revealing your weakness. You're showing the world that you don't have the strength to resist the pressure of the moment. You're showing the world that you're vulnerable, that you don't have the discipline to keep your emotions in check. The first step toward true power, toward true wisdom, is learning to pause. When you stop reacting, you start thinking. When you stop giving in to the emotional pull of the moment, you start gaining control over your life. You start thinking before you speak. You start weighing your options before you act. You start making decisions based on reason, not on the whims of the moment. Those who think before they act, those who have the mental discipline to step back, to breathe, to reflect. They are the ones who move ahead. They are the ones who make progress. They are the ones who climb to the top, who achieve greatness, who are respected by their peers. They don't let the external world control them. They control themselves. And that self-control is the most powerful thing you can possess. Every stupid person you've encountered in your life, whether it's a colleague, a friend, a family member, or even yourself, has reacted in the moment. They have let their anger, their fear, their frustration dictate their actions. And in doing so, they have ruined opportunities, destroyed relationships, and lost out on success. Think about this. How many times have you found yourself reacting to something, only to look back later and realize that you acted out of emotion, not logic? How many times have you lashed out in anger, only to regret it later? How many times have you let your frustration or confusion lead you to make poor decisions? How many times have you spoken without thinking and found that your words were destructive, not helpful? The people who are successful, the people who are respected, the people who achieve their goals, they don't react. They think. They take time to reflect. They take control of their emotions, and they use their intelligence to shape their responses. They know that in the heat of the moment, when everything is chaotic, it's the ability to remain calm, to think clearly, and to respond with logic that separates the strong from the weak. So ask yourself, what kind of person do you want to be? The kind who reacts, who lets the world control them? Or the kind who thinks, who takes decisive action, who stands firm in the face of chaos? You must take responsibility for your actions. You must recognize when you're falling into the trap of reaction. When you feel yourself being pulled by emotion, pause. Take a breath. Think. Reflect. If you act from a place of clarity, if you act from a place of reason, you will start to see your life transform. You will start to make better decisions. You will start to build stronger relationships. You will start to gain control over your life instead of letting life control you. Those who react will never rise above the chaos of the world. Those who think, who reflect, who take their time to understand, they are the ones who rise above it all. And that, my friend, is what true power looks like. That is what it means to be in control of your life. Number 2, they speak before they understand. There is a crippling, paralyzing habit that reveals the depth of someone's ignorance. Speaking before they understand. This is not merely an impulsive reaction. It's the manifestation of a profound flaw, one that reveals the very core of a stupid person's inability to engage with the world in any meaningful way. It is the embodiment of arrogance, speaking as if their words carry weight, as if their half-formed thoughts are somehow worthy of being shared, without any understanding of the subject at hand. And this, my friend, is a flaw that can destroy you. Understand this: stupidity does not come from lack of knowledge. It comes from the refusal to learn, the refusal to listen, and the refusal to reflect. It comes from the reckless act of speaking without understanding. It is the dangerous mindset of someone who assumes that because they have a mouth, their words are important. And this belief, this arrogance, is what keeps people trapped in a cycle of ignorance. When you speak before you understand, you are displaying the ultimate act of weakness. It's as if you believe your voice, your opinion, your perspective are the most important things in the room. It's the voice of someone who is terrified of silence, terrified of looking uninformed, terrified of not being heard. But in truth, the most dangerous people are not the silent ones. They are the ones who speak out of turn, who fill the air with meaningless noise, who leave a trail of chaos behind them. They do not listen, they do not reflect, and they do not understand. In today's world, where everyone has a platform, where everyone can share their thoughts at the push of a button, this problem has only grown. The internet, social media, and the constant stream of information have made it easier than ever to speak without truly understanding. The world is flooded with voices that blabber about topics they know nothing about issues they have never bothered to explore, about situations they haven't even taken the time to understand. And these voices are dangerous. These voices spread ignorance and misinformation like wildfire, poisoning the minds of others who may not know any better. But there's something even more insidious about this behavior. It's not just the act of speaking out of turn, it's the inherent arrogance that comes with it. The person who speaks without understanding believes at some level that their words matter more than the truth, that their uninformed opinion is just as valid as the well-researched, carefully considered thoughts of those who have actually taken the time to understand. They think their shallow perspective is worthy of being heard because they simply have the audacity to speak. This is the hallmark of stupidity, the arrogance to believe that speaking without understanding is somehow more valuable than listening and learning. It's the inability to recognize that true wisdom lies not in regurgitating what you've heard, but in deeply understanding what you are discussing. To speak without understanding is not an act of confidence, it's an act of intellectual laziness. It's the refusal to confront your ignorance, to admit that there are things you do not know, to humble yourself in the face of truth. And when you do this, you reveal yourself as nothing more than a fool. The stupid person speaks before they understand because they are afraid. They are afraid of appearing ignorant, of looking uninformed, of being judged for not having all the answers. So instead of taking the time to listen, to learn, and to understand, they speak out of a desperate need to assert themselves, to project an image of knowledge and competence that they do not possess. They believe that if they just speak loudly enough, if they say enough words, they will be taken seriously. But the reality is that those who speak without understanding are only fooling themselves. The world sees through it. People can sense when someone is speaking from a place of ignorance, and those who do so are quickly dismissed, their opinions discarded as the noise of the uninformed. But the consequences of speaking before understanding are far more dangerous than just losing credibility. When you speak without understanding, you create confusion, you mislead others, you contribute to the spread of misinformation and false narratives. You create division where there could be unity. You plant seeds of doubt where there could be clarity. And the damage you do is not limited to yourself. It affects everyone around you. It affects your community, your relationships, your reputation, and your legacy. In a world where truth is constantly under attack, where facts are twisted and manipulated, it is more important than ever to speak with understanding. To speak from a place of knowledge, of research, of deep reflection. When you speak without understanding, you become part of the problem. You become part of the noise that drowns out the truth, the clarity, and the wisdom that this world desperately needs. And this is not a game. This is not something you can afford to ignore. Your words matter. The impact of your voice extends far beyond your own ego, far beyond your own personal image. The things you say shape the world. And when you speak without understanding, you are contributing to the very chaos that holds the world back from progress. Let's be clear. When you speak without understanding, you are doing nothing but reinforcing your own ignorance. You are closing the door to growth. You are refusing to engage with reality, to face the complexities of life, to truly understand the world around you. And this, more than anything else, is what makes you stupid. But there is hope. There is always hope for those who choose to take a different path. The moment you decide to listen before you speak, to reflect before you react, you take the first step toward wisdom. The moment you choose to seek understanding, to ask questions, to educate yourself, you open the door to growth. You choose to become a person of substance, a person of depth. You choose to be someone who can contribute meaningfully to the world, whose words carry weight and truth. This is the path of the wise. This is the path of the enlightened. This is the path that leads to success, to influence, to respect. The world will not respect you for the volume of your words or the speed with which you speak. It will respect you for the weight of your words, for the depth of your understanding, for the wisdom you bring to the table. The key to greatness is understanding. The key to leadership is listening. The key to success is reflection. The key to influence is knowledge. And those who speak before they understand will never reach these heights. They will remain trapped in the shallow waters of ignorance, forever drowning in the noise of their own mindless chatter. So, stop speaking just to hear yourself talk. Stop projecting an image of knowledge that you haven't earned. Stop acting as if your words are more important than they truly are. Listen, learn, Understand. Only then can you speak with authority, with truth, and with the confidence that your words will be taken seriously. Only then can you make a difference. Only then can you become the person you were meant to be. Number 3, they blame everything but themselves. To blame others is not simply a poor habit. It is a soul-crushing choice. It is the choice of the weak. It is the conscious decision to forfeit one's own power in favor of pointing fingers at anything and everything else. When you blame others for your mistakes, your failures, your shortcomings, what you're truly doing is ceding your power to external forces. You're telling yourself that you are not in control of your life. You're surrendering your ability to improve. And worst of all, you are remaining exactly where you are, stuck, stagnant, and helpless. This is one of the clearest signs of stupidity, the refusal to take responsibility for one's actions. It is the hallmark of those who will never grow, who will never reach their potential. They remain prisoners of their own thinking, bound by the chains of excuses and the false belief that the world is conspiring against them. In reality, it is not the world that is holding them back. It is their inability to face their own decisions, their own mistakes, and their own failures with courage. Blame is the refuge of the weak-minded, the cowardly, and the ignorant. It is the safe place they retreat to when they can't bear the weight of self-reflection. It is much easier, much more comfortable, to blame your boss, your family, your upbringing, or your circumstances than it is to face the cold, hard truth. Your life is the result of your own decisions. Your failures, your pain, your struggles, they are the direct consequence of the choices you have made. The sooner you accept this truth, the sooner you will start to realize that you are the only one who has ever truly held you back. Understand this clearly. You are the reason you are where you are. No one else. Not your parents, not your friends, not society, not the economy, not your boss. All of these things may have an influence, but they do not define you. Only you have the power to shape your future. And the moment you begin to blame others for your situation is the moment you begin to relinquish that power. You hand it over to someone else and say, I can't do anything because of them. But that is the lie. That is the poison that will keep you trapped forever. A person who blames others is a person who is not looking for solutions. They are not looking for answers. They are looking for excuses. They want to justify their failures. They want to absolve themselves from any responsibility. And this, my friend, is a fool's game. It is a waste of time, energy, and life itself. Blaming others will never get you anywhere. It will never bring you closer to your goals. It will never lead to success. It will only keep you in a cycle of dissatisfaction and frustration. The stupid person does not understand the power of taking responsibility. They do not understand the strength it takes to say, this was my fault. This was my decision, and now it's on me to fix it. It takes incredible courage to look in the mirror and admit that you are the one who made a mistake. It takes immense fortitude to face the consequences of your actions, to take full responsibility for what you've done, and then to take the necessary steps to correct it. But this is the only path to growth. This is the only way forward. Let's be clear, responsibility does not mean self-blame in the sense of self-pity or self-loathing. It means acknowledging that you have control over your actions and decisions. It means seeing your mistakes, learning from them, and using them as stepping stones for your growth. It means taking ownership of your life, no matter the circumstances. This is the essence of true power. When you take responsibility, you take control of your destiny. The person who blames others is a prisoner to their own victimhood. They are shackled by their own mind, convinced that they are helpless to change their situation. They live in the past, constantly rehashing all the things that went wrong, all the things that were done to them. But the truth is this: the past is gone. It no longer matters. The only thing that matters is what you do right now, what you do today. And the moment you stop blaming others, the moment you take responsibility, you unlock your true potential. The danger of blame is that it prevents you from moving forward. It keeps you stuck in the same spot, circling around the same issues, the same problems. Every time you point the finger at someone else, you reinforce the idea that they have the power over your life. But they don't. You do. The stupid person doesn't understand this. they remain paralyzed by their inability to own their actions. They continue to suffer year after year because they never take the necessary steps to change their circumstances. It's easy to fall into the trap of blame. It's easy to look at the things that went wrong and say, that wasn't my fault, it was because of someone else. But that's the lie. The moment you tell yourself that your failures are the result of someone else's actions, you absolve yourself of the responsibility to fix them. You give away your power. And the longer you live in this fantasy, the longer you will remain stuck. The longer you will remain a fool. But there is hope. There is always hope for those who choose to take responsibility. There is always the possibility of change. The moment you stop blaming others and take ownership of your life, you begin to shift the very trajectory of your future. You reclaim your power. You stop being a victim. You stop being passive. You start being the person who makes things happen. And this is where the magic begins. This is when you begin to experience real growth. The truth is that blaming others is an act of cowardice. It is the choice of someone who is unwilling to face the discomfort of self-reflection. It is much easier to blame your circumstances than it is to face your own decisions. But only by facing yourself can you unlock your true potential. Only by accepting full responsibility can you move forward and create the life you truly want. This is your life, your choices, your responsibility. Stop blaming others. Stop making excuses. Take control. Own your actions, own your mistakes, and step into the future that you deserve. The world will not wait for you to get your act together. If you want to achieve greatness, if you want to live a life of purpose, you must take full ownership of everything in your life. And it starts today. When you stop blaming others, you stop giving away your power. You stop being a passive spectator in your own life. You become the one who shapes your destiny. And that, my friend, is the path to success, the path to greatness, the path to freedom. Please help spread this ancient wisdom to more people. Hit subscribe, smash the like button, and drop a comment below. It's just one click. These thoughts could inspire or help someone else on their journey. Together, we can make a difference. Number 4. They chase pleasure, not progress. To chase pleasure is to abandon purpose. It is to choose the fleeting, shallow rewards of today over the hard-earned victories of tomorrow. People who chase pleasure instead of progress are enslaving themselves to their own weaknesses. They are fools who sell their future for a moment of satisfaction, and they don't even realize that by doing so, they've destroyed any chance they had of becoming something truly great. This is not a simple mistake. It is the death of any real potential. Chasing pleasure isn't a casual habit. It is an addiction, a disease that eats away at the very fabric of who you are and what you are capable of achieving. It tells you to seek comfort, to seek the easy path, to numb yourself to the pain of growth, to drown out the discomfort that precedes greatness. But this path only leads to a dead end. A life of shallow highs, of empty victories that amount to nothing in the end. Pleasure is an illusion. It's the lie we tell ourselves to avoid confronting the discomfort of progress. But the truly wise know that no real achievement comes without sacrifice. No worthwhile victory is won without pain. The journey to greatness is paved with the grit of hard work, the sweat of persistence, and the agony of facing yourself in your weakest moments. It's not fun. It's not comfortable, but it's necessary. Chasing pleasure? That's the easy way out, but it's the path of mediocrity. It's the trap that keeps you small, keeps you trapped in a cycle of momentary satisfaction with no lasting fulfillment. Those who chase pleasure don't understand that the pursuit of immediate gratification robs them of their future. They live in the moment, indulging in distractions, in excess, in comforts that only lead to stagnation. What is the cost of this pursuit? The cost is your time. The cost is your focus. The cost is your potential. Every second you spend seeking pleasure is a second you waste, a second you could have used to build something real, something meaningful. But instead, you squander it. You seek the fleeting satisfaction of the moment, the cheap thrill that fades as quickly as it comes. The difference between pleasure and progress: pleasure is temporary. It's an escape. It's a drug you inject into your system to dull the senses and numb the mind. It's the indulgence in food, drink, entertainment, or any number of distractions that provide instant gratification but leave you feeling emptier after each hit. But progress, real progress, is the opposite. Progress is the long, slow burn. It is the consistent grind, the relentless pursuit of improvement that doesn't feel good at first, but pays off in ways that you can't even begin to comprehend until you've gone through the process. It's about looking beyond the surface level and seeing what's possible for your future, not just for the present moment. The people who chase pleasure are addicted to instant results. They want to feel good right now. They want to avoid the discomfort of growth and self-discipline. But what they fail to see is that pleasure is a liar. It will never give you what you truly desire. It will give you temporary comfort and numbness, but it will leave you empty, always reaching for more, never satisfied, and never fulfilled. It is a never-ending cycle of cravings that keeps you running in circles. Meanwhile, the pursuit of progress requires a long-term vision. It requires patience, sacrifice, and an unrelenting desire to become better every single day. Real progress isn't about avoiding pain or discomfort, it's about embracing it. You have to be willing to put in the hard work, the sacrifices, and the time it takes to become better. You have to be willing to endure the hardship of growth, the resistance of change, and the loneliness that comes with making difficult decisions. Progress is about resilience. It's about having the strength to keep going, even when things aren't going your way. It's about making sacrifices today to ensure that tomorrow will be better. The foolishness of chasing pleasure. The person who chases pleasure is the person who lacks vision. They don't see the bigger picture. They don't understand that true fulfillment comes from overcoming adversity, from pushing yourself to your limits, and from achieving something that truly matters. They are stuck in the moment, lost in the illusion of comfort, and completely unaware of the opportunities for greatness that lie on the other side of discomfort. People who chase pleasure do not see the value in delayed gratification. They don't see that the most rewarding things in life come with time, effort, and sacrifice. They don't realize that the true joy in life comes not from avoiding pain, but from overcoming it. They never experience the deep satisfaction of a hard-won victory because they've never had the courage to fight for it. Instead, they settle for the cheap thrills that come in the form of distractions and indulgence. But the truly stupid person, the person who is enslaved by their need for instant gratification, will never understand this. They are trapped in their own ignorance, blind to the opportunities for growth and progress that are right in front of them. They live for the moment, and the moment is all they will ever have. But moments are fleeting, and when they are gone, what are you left with? Nothing. The reality of running from progress. When you run from progress, when you chase pleasure instead, you run the risk of losing everything that truly matters. You may have moments of temporary happiness, but they will never fulfill you. They will never give you the sense of purpose and satisfaction that comes from achieving something of real value. You may feel good for a while, but deep down, you will always know that you're not living up to your potential. You will know that you're wasting your time, wasting your life, and wasting your chance to become something more. The most successful, fulfilled people in the world don't live for pleasure. They live for progress. They live for the journey, for the growth, and for the results that come from consistent hard work and determination. They don't need instant gratification because they know that the reward of progress far outweighs the temporary thrill of pleasure. They are driven by a purpose, a vision, and an unwavering commitment to their goals. And while others chase fleeting pleasures, they are moving forward, building their dreams and creating a life that is both meaningful and impactful. They may not have the quick fixes or the easy wins, but they have something far greater. A life that is rich in progress, purpose, and lasting satisfaction. Conclusion: the true path to fulfillment. If you want to be anything more than ordinary, you must stop chasing pleasure. You must stop seeking the temporary satisfaction that only leads to emptiness. Instead, choose progress. Choose growth. Choose the long, hard path that leads to something truly valuable. It will not be easy. It will not always feel good, but it will be worth it. Chasing progress means you are choosing to invest in yourself. You are choosing to embrace the discomfort that comes with growth, knowing that it will pay off in the end. And that is where true satisfaction lies, not in fleeting moments of pleasure, but in the enduring fulfillment that comes from making progress, overcoming obstacles, and becoming the best version of yourself. Stop living for today's fleeting satisfaction. Start living for tomorrow's greatness. Number 5. They run from truth. To be confronted with truth is to face the brutal reality of who we truly are and what we're capable of. It is to be exposed, stripped of pretensions, and forced to either grow or collapse under the weight of that reality. And yet, there are those who flee from truth the moment it stands before them. They evade it, ignore it, and even despise it. These are the foolish ones, the ones who run from truth. And in doing so, they run from their own potential. The truth is a mirror, unflinching, unforgiving, and ruthless in its reflection. It has the power to shape us, mold us, and force us into discomfort so that we may finally understand who we really are. And yet, the truly stupid, those who choose to live in ignorance, will do anything to avoid it. They are not merely avoiding facts, they are avoiding themselves. Why do people run from truth? The answer is simple, yet deeply unsettling. People run from truth because it threatens their very existence. It demands something of them. It demands change, responsibility, and the courage to accept what cannot be controlled or denied. The truth requires us to acknowledge our flaws, our mistakes, and the things we've been avoiding. It demands a level of humility and self-awareness that many are unwilling to face. But running from truth is the ultimate act of cowardice. It is the refusal to take ownership of one's life, to take responsibility for one's own growth, and to face what needs to be faced. The problem with avoiding truth is not just that it limits us, it condemns us to a life of stagnation. We remain trapped in the same patterns, the same broken cycles, repeating mistakes because we refuse to confront the lessons life is trying to teach us. It is an act of willful ignorance, and it is perhaps the clearest sign of a mind that is weak, shallow, and unwilling to evolve. When you run from the truth, you stay stuck in your own limitations. You fail to see the opportunities for growth that lie before you. Opportunities that only emerge when you embrace reality in its most raw and unadulterated form. You may think you are protecting yourself from pain, but in reality, you are building the walls that will keep you trapped in a cage of your own making. To live in denial is to live in a false world, one where your choices are based not on reality, but on a comfortable illusion. It's easy to find solace in the lie, in the way it cushions you from the sting of life's challenges. But that illusion is built on a foundation of sand, and sooner or later it will collapse beneath you, leaving you exposed and vulnerable to the consequences of your own ignorance. Denial does not protect you, it only delays the inevitable. The truth will always find its way to the surface. It will always confront you, no matter how hard you try to avoid it. Running from it only ensures that you will face a harsher reality later on, one that is far more difficult to accept. There is no greater foolishness than living in a state of denial, refusing to confront the hard truths that could lead to your growth. The truth is uncomfortable, yes. It may be painful to accept, but it is also liberating. It is the key to freedom, the freedom to change, to evolve, and to build a life that is grounded in authenticity and self-awareness. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the willingness to face fear head-on, to confront the things that scare us, and to push through the discomfort. The truly courageous do not run from the truth. They embrace it, even when it is difficult. They understand that it is only by facing the truth that they can grow, evolve, and transcend their limitations. There is no growth without discomfort, no progress without pain. The truth forces us to stretch beyond our boundaries, to become more than we were yesterday. It is a painful process, but one that is necessary for anyone who desires to become truly powerful. And this power comes not from running away from the truth, but from embracing it fully and completely, with all of its imperfections and messiness. When you run from the truth, you are choosing to remain small. You are choosing to stay in a place of ignorance, where your potential is locked away, never to be fully realized. You are choosing to live in the shadows of your own mind, unwilling to step into the light of self-awareness and personal growth. The consequences of this are far-reaching. A life of denial leads to missed opportunities, broken relationships, and a general sense of dissatisfaction that grows over time. You may not feel it immediately, but the weight of denial builds up. It eats away at your confidence, your sense of self-worth, and your ability to make meaningful decisions. You lose your connection to your own power, to your ability to shape your destiny, and to your sense of purpose. In a world that demands clarity, decisiveness, and self-awareness, those who run from the truth will always be left behind. They will struggle to keep up with those who are willing to face their demons, to accept their weaknesses, and to turn those weaknesses into strengths. The truth may be uncomfortable, but it is also empowering. It is only by facing the truth head-on that you can unlock the door to your full potential. The first step in stopping the cycle of avoidance is to acknowledge that you are running. You must confront the truth that you have been hiding from, no matter how painful or uncomfortable it may be. This is not an easy process, but it is the most important one you will ever undertake. It is the moment when you take full responsibility for your life, for your choices, and for your future. Once you have accepted the truth, the next step is to take action. The truth is not just a concept, it is something that must be embodied through your choices and your actions. When you accept the truth, you must change the way you live. You must take decisive action based on the insights you have gained and make the necessary changes to create the life you desire. This is not a one-time event. It is a continuous process of growth where you keep confronting new truths, evolving, and becoming more powerful with each step. And with every truth you face, you become stronger, more capable, and more aligned with your true self. There is an immense power in truth. The truth cuts through the noise and confusion, providing you with clarity and direction. It allows you to make decisions that are aligned with your deepest values and your highest potential. The truth gives you the freedom to live authentically, to stop pretending, and to embrace the full spectrum of who you are. When you stop running from the truth, you start to see the world differently. You begin to understand the patterns of your life, the reasons for your struggles, and the path forward. You gain clarity, not only about who you are, but about the world around you. You understand the forces at play in your life, and you can begin to make strategic moves that propel you toward success. In the end, it is the truth that will set you free. It will strip away the illusions and the lies that have kept you shackled, and it will reveal the immense power within you. You will no longer be controlled by fear, ignorance, or denial. You will be empowered to create the life you truly want. Those who run from the truth are not only missing out on the opportunities for growth, they are actively sabotaging their own success. They are choosing comfort over power, ignorance over wisdom, and fear over freedom. But for those who choose to face the truth, there is an entirely different world waiting for them. A world of clarity, growth, and unstoppable potential. To be truly powerful, you must be willing to embrace the truth, no matter how difficult it may be. This is the key to unlocking your true potential, to breaking free from the chains of mediocrity, and to living a life of purpose and fulfillment. Stop running from the truth, face it, embrace it, and become the person you were always meant to be. We have more interesting videos about Stoicism and the way of life. If you want to watch a video about 10 shocking things that happen when you start telling only the truth, please click link above in the video. If you like the video or you don't want to miss further videos about Stoicism, please subscribe. Number 6. They do nothing with what they know. When you encounter someone who knows everything but does nothing with that knowledge, you are staring at one of the most crippling signs of stupidity. It's a deceptive form of ignorance, wrapped in a shiny package of self-perceived brilliance. The irony here is so thick it could cut through steel. People who fall into this category love to talk about their knowledge. They love to assert how much they understand the world, business, or their field of expertise, but their actions are empty. Let's break this down because this is more dangerous than most of us realize. We live in a world that thrives on information. We have unlimited access to knowledge at our fingertips. In fact, we live in the era of information overload. But here's the thing. Information alone is useless. It's like having a toolbox filled with the sharpest, most expensive tools on the market, but never using them to fix anything. The person who has knowledge but does nothing with it is more dangerous than an ignorant person. Why? Because their potential is squandered, their influence is wasted, and the worst part? They are blind to the opportunity they have to change their lives and the lives of those around them. People who know things but don't act on them are the walking embodiment of wasted potential. They sit on information like it's some form of currency they don't want to spend. It's almost as if they believe the knowledge itself holds some kind of magical power. Just knowing it is enough. But that's a lie. Knowledge only holds power when it's used. Knowledge is a tool. You must pick it up, wield it, and use it to shape your reality. That's where the gap lies. Knowledge and action. These are the people who talk endlessly about ideas, theories, and solutions, but never implement any of them. They speak with such conviction, so much authority, that you almost believe they are onto something groundbreaking. But at the end of the day, they remain in the same place they started, achieving nothing. The world they live in is nothing more than a mental playground, and while their intellect might sound impressive, it has no impact on the world they inhabit. They are like generals in a battle who never step foot on the front lines, endlessly strategizing but never fighting. We see this most often in business. Have you ever met someone who knows every detail about market trends, about how to start a successful company, about the most efficient ways to manage employees, but when it comes to executing their own ideas, silence. They do nothing. The knowledge they hold could easily propel them to success, but it's all theoretical. It's all speculation. They get stuck in the planning phase, analyzing, reviewing, reanalyzing, and then nothing. They know what needs to be done but lack the courage, the initiative, or the will to act. The issue here isn't just inaction. It's that this inaction breeds a sense of stagnation and despair. As the person watches others succeed, they continue to bask in their own knowledge without ever taking a step forward. The self-satisfaction of knowing more than others becomes a prison. The fact that they could change their own circumstances but choose not to speaks volumes about their mindset. They are trapped by the very thing that could set them free: knowledge. This stagnation is one of the most dangerous symptoms of intellectual arrogance. They believe that simply knowing is enough. They believe their mental prowess is a reflection of their success. But we must not confuse knowing with doing. Real power, the kind of power that creates change, is not in what you know, it's in what you can make happen. Knowledge is just fuel. Action is the engine that propels you forward. You can have a whole tank of premium gasoline, but if you don't start the car, you're not going anywhere. Think of the world's most successful people, the ones who have revolutionized industries, built empires, and changed history. They weren't the smartest people in the room. They were the ones who acted. They used their knowledge not as a badge to wear, but as a tool to build their future. The difference between those who achieve and those who simply know is one thing: movement. It's the simple truth that the world rewards action. It's not enough to sit back and passively observe, waiting for the perfect moment, the right opportunity. Those moments, those opportunities come from making decisions, from taking bold, decisive action. You don't wait for the world to hand you what you want. You go out and grab it with both hands. You put what you know into motion. You get your hands dirty and you learn along the way. But this is where so many people fail. They think that knowing the right thing to do is enough. They rationalize their inactivity by telling themselves they're still planning, that they need more information, that the timing isn't right. The truth is, the timing will never be perfect. The information will never be complete. The stars will never align. You'll never have all the answers. The only way to truly change your life and the world around you is to act with the knowledge you already have. It's a hard pill to swallow, especially for those who are addicted to knowledge. They think that every piece of information is like a precious jewel to be hoarded and stored in their minds. But here's the harsh reality. Knowledge without action is useless. It's worthless. You can memorize every book, listen to every podcast, attend every seminar, and yet you'll still be standing in the same place, staring at the same problems forever. The moment you realize this, really realize it, is the moment you can free yourself from the chains of indecision. You start using the knowledge you have, and in doing so, you begin to create momentum. You'll fail, and that's fine. You'll stumble, and that's fine too. But you'll be moving, you'll be living, you'll be creating. And with each step, you'll learn, grow, and refine your understanding. That's how you move forward. You act, you fail, you learn, and then you keep moving. The person who does nothing with what they know is the person who has given up on the process of growth. They think they have all the answers, but in reality, they've stopped asking questions. They've stopped engaging with the world around them. They're sitting on the sidelines, observing the game, but never playing. They are stagnant, and in stagnation, there's no growth. They live in a mental bubble, thinking they have all the knowledge they need, but in reality, they have nothing because they are not applying it. It's time to take that knowledge and put it into practice. It's time to get off the sidelines. If you're holding back, afraid to make a move, or afraid to fail, remember this: failure is just part of the journey. It's the process. You cannot win without getting your hands dirty. You can't build anything by sitting in a chair watching others build. The time to act is now. The bottom line: stop waiting, stop planning, stop analyzing. Take the knowledge you have and use it. Make a move, do something. That's where the power lies. Don't just sit there with your mind full of facts, figures, and theories. Do something with it. The world is full of people who think they know it all, but the ones who actually do something with what they know, those are the ones who make a difference. You can't change anything by simply knowing. You change the world by doing. That's how you break free from the chains of inaction and move forward. Your success is waiting on the other side of action. Stop wasting time on knowledge that's not being used. The power is in the doing, and that is where the magic happens. Till the next time, stay strong and live wisely.